Introducing National Streaming Sports, live and on-demand sports talk programming that you can access 24/7. For the premier sports talk experience, tap into our Roku channel. Start your mornings with Mac and Jack covering all the weekend sports action. Then pour a cup and enjoy all the sports you can drink on the Coffee and Sports podcast. At midday, talk sports from east to west on the Coast to Coast podcast. Followed at night by some hot girl talk with Prim and Proper Sports featuring Sonja Pearson. Talk boxing on the Gloved Fist. Yankee fans tune in for Start Spreading the News. And there's more on the College Sports Huddle and Sports Scope with Robert Butler. There are 20 podcasts in all and 70 weekly shows giving us a 3.4-star viewer rating. To find us on Roku TV, search for National Streaming Sports on the Roku search bar. Click on the logo and you're in. National Streaming Sports, live and on-demand sports talk for America.
Breeze ain't number like a week recording.
Yeah, we are now.
You recording the record.
But I want folks to know, I'm sick of Kevin.
J-Train is going to be talking about Drew Brees for a very long time.
At least I can talk about him, brother. How many quarterbacks you talking about in your organization?
You told him great value.
Eli Manning's a little bit iffy.
Go ahead. That halo is perfect.
Eli has two in the halo. Two.
That's true. He did get over on Tom Brady. Yeah, he did.
No, but the Falcons are so bad. They got quarterbacks that go out on.
He just didn't get over into the Hall of Fame. That's about
it. Listen. Marcus Mariota abandoned the whole team. He went out, never came back. They didn't even know they were looking for him, calling his house. He up there cashing checks at the money center at Walmart and not even thinking about the Falcons.
Yeah, you see what Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield did when they left Carolina, right?
Yeah, but the point is they left. They were released. Marcus Mariota went AWOL on y'all.
How about y'all do Bryson Song?
Taylor Heineke, Desmond Ritter. Then y'all paid Kirk Cobain all that money. Now come on, man. You got Michael Penix Jr. who got 4 injuries.
The two best quarterbacks in the Falcons regime is Mike Vick and Matt Ryan.
That's that's gonna be all too.
I think Penix is gonna be that guy.
Well, but time's got to tell. You can't give it to him now.
Yeah.
For the Saints, it was Aaron Brooks and Drew Brees.
That's it.
No.
And Archie Manning, man. You can't take.
And what about the Panthers? Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Friday with the fellas. And that was our behind the scenes cut. Sometimes we do that. We have so much fun. Sometimes it goes well beyond the show. I am Sonja, and I am joined by a host of gentlemen tonight. So excited to be here. I have to my right B. Trilla. He is from the One Ass Cheek, Three Toes podcast. To diagonal of him, also Nate the Great, his co-host on that same network. Mike Tipton, the Tipping Point, Dallas Cowboys fan to the far right. And just like the NFC South, beneath me, J-Train for the New Orleans Saints in the NFC South. However, brother, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Prim and Proper Sports. And thank you, everybody. Make sure you download the Roku app. Shout out to Linda and Mac over there. You guys download the app and follow us, National Streaming Sports. Nothing but fun, football, faith, family. We talk about it all over here. Good evening, gentlemen. How are you all?
Good.
Yeah,
everybody's
doing
good?
Great.
Everybody's good. What's going on, TC? How are you tonight? What is it? What's his last name? Castaneda?
Castaneja.
To
Patton's conversation.
What's going on, Lamar? Easy to say, James. And what's going on, everybody? Yes. TC 915. Let me go ahead and let you guys know, since we plugged all that in, big news. I mean, not to us. Kevin ain't on here. We don't know where he is, but Julio Jones is out, retired today. Number 11, number double deuce. Question: Does he retire as a Falcon, or is he going to retire as a Titan, or where is he going to retire?
Oh, he'll retire a Falcon, I would.
Yeah. I had to be funny. Yeah. So congratulations to number 11. Big numbers, J-Train. Our NFC South nemesis was a threat until he was not with that turf toe.
One of the best receivers I've ever seen coming out of Alabama, highly touted, and the Falcons risked it all. They risked everything to get Julio Jones, and he was well worth it. I think they got him at number 6. Yeah, they picked him at number 6, and they gave up almost all their draft capital to get him. And again, like, it was well worth it. They got to the Super Bowl, didn't quite get over the hump with that. But Julio Jones, I hated seeing him on the other side of the field, and he was just a dominant force. And I actually saw him once out in Atlanta and driving his Bentley.
Okay.
Yes. And I was driving Uber. I just happened to pull over. I shook my head, and he shook his head back, and that was that. But man, that dude was just a monster as a wide receiver. If there was a Megatron, there was definitely a Starscream to go with him. Mm-hmm. And Julio Jones was just like that dude, man. He was a monster. And I like I said, I hated seeing him on the other side. I have nothing but admiration and respect for him. But one thing I'm really surprised at is that he's retiring now when he hasn't been. There's been no sightings of him for the past 2 or 3 years.
Let me tell you what's crazy. I'm looking at his stats right now. I ain't even know he went to Philadelphia. I definitely didn't know he went to Tennessee.
Yeah, he went there for a little bit.
Yeah, literally, like, guys, it's such a decline. His last time in the league, like Jay Trey said, was in 2023. Only 74 yards, but 11 receptions for the Eagles. Of course, they got their people. They said he got 3 touchdowns up there.
You should have stayed there so he got a ring.
Yeah, he would have. Tampa Bay going to the NFC South nemesis. 2 touchdowns there, 24 receptions, 299 yards, and with the Titans only 1 year, but he got 434 yards, 31 receptions, and 1 touchdown. Big numbers. His biggest year was in 2015. I can't stand that year. That's when they really were going against us. 136 receptions, 1871 yards. 13.8 average per carry, 8 touchdowns was his biggest year. But however, in 2012, because you guys know he was picked up in 2011, he was on fire with the touchdowns. In 2012, he had 10 touchdowns, y'all. 10 touchdowns, 79 receptions, only 1198 yards, but those were big yards. Over his career, 13,703 yards. 914 receptions total for all the teams, averaging 15 yards per carry. So he was getting a first down every time, pretty much. Total of 65 yards. Total of 65 touchdowns. Congratulations to Julio Quintavious Jones. I think Quintaneros or Quentin Tarantino. His name is Quintorris Lopez Julio Jones Jr., born February 8th, 1989. So he's an Aquarius like me. 36 years old, University of Alabama. He has officially retired. So congratulations to him. And I want to.
Yeah, I think.
Go ahead, Nate. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say real quick. J Train kind of alluded to Megatron. I honestly think if you look at the history of the receivers in the league, Megatron was kind of the first big body receiver that you saw could jump out of a building, but also could run 4.3.
Oh, damn.
And then Julio came into the league after Megatron, and I think those 2 receivers really set the basis for the DK Metcalfs, for the George Pickens, for the the more thicker receivers that we didn't see in past situations, because they were more thinner, faster, leaner. These were like Megatron was the beginning of the big, thick receivers, and then Julio came along, and then after that was DK and so on. All these other bigger guys now that you see now in the NFL. So they were like kind of like the pioneers, in my opinion, of the big receivers.
Definitely that. And even though we started off with that news because we did the backdrop, that is not the big news. Right now it is March Madness. And good evening to Lamar, Mike, let's see, let's see, it's a bunch of people. Dennis, hello. Good evening, everybody, for joining us. Thank you so much. The big news is it's done, guys. The Lady Cox came out big tonight. Texas is going home. Final Four is a wrap. Dawn Staley once again is going to championship row with the final two. This game is just now wrapping. Mike Patton actually is commenting on that now. South Carolina defeats Texas, headed to the national championship game. Absolutely, I got the game on right now. And Mike also says how fitting that Julio retires on 4:40. I forgot that is today. I knew it was 4:4 all day because 4 is my favorite number, but I never equate that with 4:04. So definitely congratulations. He definitely did. Congrats. I mean, his number's number 11. It's 1-1.
That's how you know he's going to be, retiring with Atlanta. So
yes, and let me give a shout out real quick to Pink Fan First. She is the lady behind our reels, our advertisements, our promo. She connects me with the guests. So shout out to Pink Fan Fur. Hop over to her YouTube. She's trending and all that good stuff. We love you, Pink. Thank you. And to Bo Crouch, Football Talk with Bo. He is Coast to Coast Sports. This lovely backdrop you see, he's designed that for me. I'm just blessed to have such great support and talent. And there you have it. Moving along. Yeah, so the big two is going to be, Mike says, UConn versus South Carolina. He's going to call it UConn beats UCLA. Guys, we are definitely going to be talking about that. Oh, there's Pink Fanfare. Now, what's going on, Pink? Yes, that's her team. The lady, Dawn Staley, she's a big fan. Pink actually has pictures with Dawn. She's always down there. And so, yes, Pink, we just gave you a shout out, sis. So glad to have you on tonight. And yes, those ladies got it done. Thank you. Guys, let's talk March Madness. Let's talk about the ladies right now that are going on. How you guys call it? And what's up, Robbie?
Honestly, Dawn Staley, like I know Gino Oriyama and Pat, I forget her last name, the Lady Vols coach.
Summit.
Thank you. Pat Summit and Gio Oriyama are the pioneers of women's basketball when it comes to coaching. But now you put Dawn Staley up there, and Dawn Staley is building a dynasty with the Lady Cox. Like the reality is, like if you watch them play, like I don't watch a lot of women's basketball. I'm going to be honest with you, but I am going to tune in to watch Paige Beckers in the next game because I've heard a lot about her, and I wanted to see Juju play, but she needs to get healthy. Up to Juju on that. But it's just the size, the tenacity, the aggressiveness that they play with. It's kind of like a street ball type of team, like not in a bad way, but they just play real scrappy, but they've got length on that team. Like Texas got blocked about maybe 10 times, could have been blocked about 20 times if you watch the game. And Texas is pretty good. They got that number 35. She's pretty good, and they were number 1 seed, so they weren't a slouch, but they just dominated them the second half. Like it was a 1-point game at halftime. And literally, I think Texas maybe scored 15 points.
Yeah, that's what I was like. They just open up.
They whooped their ass.
Yeah, just open all the way. I mean, literally, it was like a 4-point game, and then it wasn't. So, And now UConn is warming up to start their game tonight. So we're gonna see who the winner is. We will have the final two. Tip, J-Train, Trilla. You guys gonna follow this game as well? I mean, we're here now, but. You know, it's a big weekend for March Madness. Tomorrow's all the guys.
Yeah, for sure. And like Nate said, everything that you see with South Carolina, they've been doing such a good job over there. The fact that you can lose as many seniors as they lost, like with Cardoza and them going to the WNBA, going to Asia, doing all that, for them to be able to go back and be in the picture again, be in the national championship. Like we got to start giving Dawn Staley her flowers, right? Like as one of the best, and definitely the best right now. And it's going to be super cool to watch because I do feel like UConn's going to beat UCLA. It'll be kind of cool to watch that changing of the guard, right? You know, passing the torch on from Gino Oriyama to Dawn Staley. I think that'll be a pretty cool thing to watch because as good as UConn is, I can't see anybody beating South Carolina right now. Though, like this is the second time in 3 weeks that they've dominated Texas because they did it in the SEC championship game as well. So it's just they're so damn good, and it's going to be so hard for UConn to even have a game against them.
Yeah.
First of all, congrats to Dawn Staley and Lady Gamecock. Look, Dawn Staley is, to me, I liken her onto Nick Saban in Alabama.
I was just thinking that
during his reign.
Yep.
They're just dominant. And when they lose players, they go onto the league and they just reload.
Yep.
They reload. They got players. They're ready to go, and they're dominant. It's just, and what's helping them right now too, as well, to factor into that, is NIL. Because you make more money in college right now than you would have in the WNBA. So most of these girls, like LSU, the girl from LSU, she decided to run it back. I think this is going to be her junior year. Most players, you can be one and done, but they realize it's more profitable to be in college and still win if you having some success, some level of success to get to the tournament and continue to win. And so why not? Why not? And Dawn is just great. Hats off to her, man.
One thing. Oh, go ahead.
And along with that, like what I was going to say is like the WNBA, you're not allowed to even declare for the WNBA draft until you're 22 years old. So you've got to already be on the way out of college, right? So that's what helps them be able to keep these teams together, have sustained success like that. So it's really cool to see. Like again, you got a really young team in South Carolina. This means that they can like dominate now for the next 4 or 5 years, and they've already been dominant over the last 5 years as well.
Yeah, and I also say,
go ahead,
just real quick on Dawn Staley, to piggyback on what J-Train was saying. Like you said, Nick Saban. I think Nick Saban, when you talk about Dawn Staley, the dominance is where I see Nick Saban. Like Nick Saban dominated Alabama. Dawn Staley is going to dominate at South Carolina. However, I would say that Dawn Staley is your new age type of coach. She could be a hard ass, but she also is a player's coach. Like she played the game. She knows how to relate to these ladies. And she's a mixture of, hey, we're going to do this the right way. We're going to do it my way, but we're also going to do it play to your strengths. Like, Asia Wilson, like I guarantee you, Asia's a talent. Like, you don't have to tell Asia to do a lot. She's going to dominate regardless of her size or skill, whatever it is. But these other players that aren't Asia Wilson, they just fall in line with whatever Dawn wants them to do. But she creates her offenses and her defenses, tailors them to the players. And that's one thing that I think Saban didn't really do, because Saban was more of like, we're doing it my way and you follow in line with my way. To where Dawn's like, hey, I'm giving you the option. This is what I think we should do, but how do you feel about it? You know what I'm saying? Because she's a very personable lady. Like she's very likable. She's actually probably more likable than Gino Auriemma, in my opinion.
Yeah, she's
Trilla?
I like Dawn Staley. I love me some Dawn Staley. Yeah, she's a down to earth individual, though. She is. She really is, and I think she projects that with her players, and that's the most important part of the game right there. You can get along with the ladies in basketball and personal wise, and makes that team all the better. Even with the talent that you had on there. So, yeah, I like South Carolina. I did see something in Mike Patton's comment about UConn actually did beat the crap out of South Carolina earlier this season by 20 points. So that'll be an interesting, if UConn gets to the final too, that'll be an interesting championship.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to come up to that next, but I wanted to talk about Dawn real quick. She's a young coach. She's only 54 years old. She'll be 55 in May. Just literally a month from today, May 4th. And she's actually played for Virginia Cavalier. Now, she makes it no secret that she's a big Philadelphia Eagles fan because she's originally from Philly. She has a plethora of experience as a player. And I think, like Nate said, and Nate literally said exactly what I was going to say to the T, because I talked about the recruiting that J-Train brought up, the fact that it's like reloading, literally, like you're not ever out of ammunition. So shout out to their recruitment crew. Like those people need a raise, because for them to be able to go out and recognize this type of talent and to know that this is a proper fit, both mentally and physically for that team, is just a plus all around. And I never forget when Aaliyah Boston was there. That's kind of when we started really paying attention to this organization and this school. Dawn actually brought everything there. And the Cardoza story is just amazing. That young lady came to this country, didn't speak not one English word, stayed with a teammate, learned English, got her citizenship and everything under the leadership of Coach Staley. So they are a family there. They never, even though those ladies are now in the WNBA, they literally have gotten their start and their nucleus with Coach Staley. She's former player, of course, like we said, and she was a point guard when she played for the Cavaliers, played 8 seasons in the WNBA herself with the Charlotte Sting, the former team we had there. She also played on the United States women's national basketball team in the Olympics, and she got 3 gold medals from 96 through 2004, and she was the head coach in 2021 of the same Olympic team that got a gold medal. She's the only person to win the Naismith Award as both a player and a coach. Dawn is that you know what. So shout out to her. Mike, I want to address some of your comments here. Like he talked about Pat Head Summit, man, the only woman to have 2 courts named after her. But he said Joyce Edwards is the leading scorer for South Carolina, and she comes in off the bench. Malaysia Fuwali comes off the bench and is their second leading scorer. I believe they're good. That's correct. Edwards is a freshman. Fuwali is a sophomore, so lots of time there. And then he said, talking about the UConn domination, so it's get back time. And like Pink Fan First says, you know what? Roll Tide. So she's giving a shout out to Saban. Mike, of course, with these paragraphs. Thank you, Mike, so much for your engagement. He said the reason those players are running it back actually is because it's the CBA and WNBA. NILs became endorsements. So we knew that the NIL is a factor in every sport these days. If you can make more money on a college level, on a collegiate level, why even go into the professional draft? There's a collective bargaining agreement issue between WNBA players and the WNBA. That's why many are coming back to college because of uncertainty if that gets resolved. Wow, I didn't even know
they
that.
Just make more money. They just make more money in college than they make in the WNBA right now.
UConn, Texas, and UCLA are the only 3 teams that beat Dawn Staley. That's according to Pink Fan Fur, and they will not be at the ship. You got that right. Mike actually says Raven Johnson and Cardoza were high school teammates. Yep, she's the one that helped. Yep, that's exactly right. Couldn't think of her name. And breaking news, Alex Ovechkin ties Wayne Gretzky for most goals in the NHL. Now, Trilla, since your network broke that news, I guess we'll pivot. Now, this next game is kicking off at 9:31, y'all. So it's a lot to pack into this 1 hour. Let's mosey on over to your NHL news. Trilla, what you got going for us?
So, let me bring it up real quick. I didn't know you were going to go like that on there. That's why I just put it in.
This is what we do.
Is it over or is it still going?
No, it's still going. Still in the third. 11:37.
I told you he was going to break it tonight. I said he's going to break it tonight on the show. On your show, I said it. I'm going to follow through it.
Well, you weren't the first person that said it first. Okay, Nate.
I said it first.
Oh, God, guys.
I said it yesterday.
Let's go, Trilla.
Anyway, so he's got 2 goals in a 4-3 win. They're winning right now. The Capitals are beating the Blackhawks 4-3. He's got 2 goals in this game. He needs 1 more to tie.
He'll get it.
Let me see what the box score is here.
How crazy would it be if he, sorry.
No, you good. You good. Go ahead.
I was going to say, how crazy would it be if he hits the game-winning shot on a hat trick and he beats Wayne Gretzky's record? Like, you couldn't ask for a better finishing to your career right there. Like, seriously, that'd be crazy.
All right, so Trilla, we know for at least for a minute that we got that. We'll come back to you on the field.
Yeah,
right,
I mean, it's just that the Capitals are trying to win the President's Cup, most points in the league, and and Ovechkin's been a main factor in that situation. He scored 39 goals so far this season. That's pretty good for an old man in hockey.
Yes, definitely. So, congrats to him. All right, moving along. Let's see. Robbie says Crosby's better, and boo to Ovechkin. Thanks for that. All right, guys. So let's talk a little bit about, my favorite sport, the NFL. We're going to pivot back to that. We already talked about Julio Jones retiring today. Looks like Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy, may be teetering on a contract. However, we talked a little bit before the show started. Geno Smith has solidified his contract, right, J Train?
Yes. Geno Smith just signed a contract with the Raiders, excuse me, for 2 years, $75 million, $66.5 million guaranteed.
Ooh.
And with incentives, he can push it out to possibly $85.5 million. Geno is 34 years old, but Pete Carroll came out and endorsed him and said, this is our guy. This is what, we're going to do. Obviously, he had good numbers when he was with Seattle there. And they look to keep him there for another 2 years. Now, with that said, are they a team still vying for a quarterback for the future? With Shedeur Sanders just having his pro day today, he did really well on that. I think there's still several teams in the market for Shedeur Sanders, especially after the pro day with Travis Hunter. But Geno Sanders got his money. He's got Brock Bowers to throw to. Brock Bowers probably going to have another 100 receptions from Geno. But they need another guy. They need an X. So maybe they're in the market for a receiver. Maybe they're in the market for a Ted McMillan or
no, we won't.
Matthew Golden. Matthew Golden could be one of these guys they could be in the market for. But most mock drafts have them going with Ashton Genty, and that's one of the ones I thought as well, because I think Marshawn Lynch 2.0 is kind of what he is in the mold of that, but he's still a little shorter, but he's pretty fast, and he can break some jump cut. He's just pretty special with what he did with Boise State. So they may be looking for a running back, but they may be looking for a receiver too as well at number 6 overall.
I mean, that's big. And Tip, I mean, what are your thoughts? The fact that that Pete Carroll is pretty much going into the vault on this one, like saying, "Hey, he's our guy." He's had no playing time with this new franchise. He's clearly still learning the playbook. He's got to come in and see how he meshes with the other players. I don't think there's any other Raiders there that were former players of him in Seattle. I mean, is this a bold move by Pete Carroll to get him this type of contract and say, yes, he's, deserving of it?
I don't think it's a bold move at all. I just think it's like you're taking care of your guy, right? Like that's what it looks like to me. You're just taking care of your guy. Look, they're not going to draft a quarterback at number 6 because both quarterbacks are more than likely going to be gone, right? So you're going to go get your running back in Genty, and that's what everyone's expecting them to do. And if Genty's there, then you should do it, right? Like you got to be able to establish a run. All Geno is going to do is just be your bridge to whoever that next guy is going to be, right? And they might draft a guy next year. They might draft a guy 2 years from now. Who knows what it is? You should have zero expectations for the Las Vegas Raiders. They're still the 4th best team in that division, and it's not even close. Like it's just I'm making sure my dude's getting paid. He's going to see us through this last end of his career, through the terrible waters that we've got to try to navigate here, because he's got no one to throw to. Like outside of Brock Bowers, it's me and you out there running routes for him, and he ain't going to get no receivers out there going to be able to do it for him. He doesn't have DK Metcalf anymore. He doesn't have Tyler Lockett. You're just trying to take care of your guy. That's all this is.
I mean, but Nate, what are your thoughts? I mean, it seems like Tip just said, these are the people he doesn't have, but he took care of his guy. Do the Raiders still stay in the 4th place next year, or do they kind of make a run for it?
Well, first off, it's all about relations. It's all about who you've played for you. Pete Carroll's had Geno Smith in Seattle. Whether you agree Pete Carroll had to go from Seattle, that's right or wrong, whichever, it doesn't matter. But getting his own guy, coach trusts nothing more than your quarterback that already knows you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have that disconnect as you would have with a new coach and a new quarterback. I actually, to Tipton's point, and I know B's going to disagree with me on this, but I actually think that if Shedeur and Genty are there at 6, you got a debate there.
Yeah.
I don't think it's just Genty number 1 and that's it. We move on. I think you have a debate there in the room. Now you could go either way. Obviously Tom Brady's going to be in there too, and he's a mentor of Shedeur.
Yep.
So they're going to go to the source and ask him, like, "Hey, do you really think this guy could be this good? Because you're the GOAT. We care what you say. So
and I'll be honest with you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to cut you off. I'll be honest with you. I'm not that sold on Genty as a workhorse running back in the pros because I liked him. I liked what he did at Boise State, but I think the competition was a little bit different. I think when he got up against Penn State, they had some NFL players on that team, and he didn't look quite the same like he did in all those other games he played in that weaker conference. And so and to me, if I had to choose a running back, and this is probably going to shock everybody, if I chose the running back at number 6, I'd probably go with Amarian Hampton. Yeah. I think he's a better back.
I ain't even think about him.
And the thing about with Genty is the two things he has going against him is he's a small guy, and he needs guys to miss tackles, And the thing is that most good players in the NFL don't miss tackles, especially on a small guy. They'll bring your butt down pretty quickly,
right? And
he has his acceleration is big too, so he's got to have a hole to get through and burst. Just real quick, I think he's kind of more on the lines of Mojo. He's kind of like a Mojo type of player. Like if he gets in space, he'll burn.
I was going to say that he's got the build of little pocket Hercules. Yeah, Maurice Jones-Drew. But Maurice Jones-Drew ran a 4.3 though.
Yeah, I don't know what Genty ran. What did Genty run?
He wouldn't run at all, and that's the question.
Yeah, these players that don't want to perform at the combine. And you don't have a
hurting themselves.
Yep. I mean, in the end, it hurts themselves. I know that you mentioned that Trilla may kind of have a different point on this. Trilla, what is your comeback about what Nate said on this one?
About them getting Shedeur Sanders. I mean, yeah, it's all fun and games when you talk about Tom Brady being, a contributor on that team. But at the same time, remember, he doesn't own the team.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's a business decision. So if they want to go with a running back, and J Train ready to go point, it might not be Genty. It could be the other guy that he mentioned too. So I mean, because running backs run deep in this draft, along with the defensive ends and the offensive guards. But other than that, I mean, this is a weird draft. It really is. I'd expect somebody in the top 4 or 5 to do something really idiotic and get somebody nobody expects them to get.
Vegas is the team to do it. They have nothing to lose.
Well, and that's the thing that I saw too. Like Robbie DeFeo, like he puts out there. The Raiders hurt at multiple positions. If they don't take Genty, then what they need to do is either trade back or draft someone on the offensive line, the defensive line, do something. Like I know it's not sexy, but that's what you got to like. You got to build your team around that because right now you're just saying, okay, we got our quarterback for the next couple of years. Obviously, we know where we're going to be. We're not better than the Chargers. We're not better than the Broncos. We're not better than the Chiefs. We know who we are. You're looking in the mirror, you're self-evaluating, right? We know who we are. So maybe you just go out, you get the big fat guys because that's how you got to build your team from now on. Protect your quarterback, create running lanes. Go get your big fat guys. I'm not saying it, J Train.
That's why they
expected me to say it, J Train. I'm not saying it.
I was gonna say, don't say it, man.
And no matter who the Raiders get, it's gonna be super competitive. Hello, Broski Bear. He says the AFC West is absolutely brutal. Chargers and Broncos gonna be tough, and the Chiefs. And hello to you, Melvin Johnson. What's going on? Truth be told, I'm good.
And also,
Hooli King Hooli and Robbie says the Raiders are hurting at multiple positions.
Yeah. And also too, something to consider with the Raiders is that I see the Raiders probably being about 500 or a little bit under 500. That's not going to get you a top draft pick. So if you are going for Arch Manning, if he comes out, or whoever else is a hot name, maybe the guy from Penn State, Allen, if he comes out, they've been talking about him. If you don't suck that bad, you might not get a chance at that quarterback. So that's why Shedeur makes sense. If you're not in love with Ashton Genty, and keyword in love with him, then I would go Shedeur because you get Shedeur, develop him. You got Tom Brady inside the franchise to work with this guy even more. And you got Geno for a couple of years, and Shedeur can just hold the clipboard.
Yeah, and Broski says when you grade draft prospects, you must consider productions. I don't know how y'all typing all these paragraphs. Y'all are quick. Athleticism. Listen, send us an email to come on the show, guys. That are sending all of these.
You're giving Sonja getting her tired, man. Have to read all this.
I love it, guys. Friday nights are when we have the fellas. Listen, I would love to come on here and have 20 people. I don't know. It's gonna have to be a 2-hour show. Broski's saying when you put your draft prospects in, all that stuff. Genty had production. Robbie's coming back, basically saying if he was the Raiders, he would trade back to 12 and get an extra pick with Matthew Golden. And hello to you, King Hooley, again. Let me just say this real quick. Let me make sure I got all the comments. Before we go any further, I don't want to get a Raiders too much because Tom Brady's there and he always gets, his due. I want to ask you, Tip. I see breaking news here a couple of hours ago. You probably already know it. Happened at 5:54. It's concerning your Cowboys. DeMarvion Overshown is basically saying, he's ready to come back. He's trying to be the NFL player comeback player of the year. Of course, overcoming that devastating knee injury and predicted to be one of the best young linebackers again, like he was before. Did you know about this, and what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Is like they always want to come back super early. And like if you saw any of the Cowboys games last year, Overshown was like their defensive MVP. Like he gets hurt late in the season, and it really felt like there was never a time last season where the Cowboys had their best defense out there at all times, right? Like Parsons missed a good part of the year, Lawrence missed a good part of the year, Diggs missed, Bland missed. It was just like they just couldn't seem to have everybody on the field at the same time. And I could imagine the scenario where you have Overshown and Parsons along with Odigizua and a couple of the other, pass rushers that Dallas has. And that's fine and dandy. Get pressure on the quarterback. We know that that's what's going to get you paid. But the biggest issue with the Dallas Cowboys is still that middle linebacking core and that interior defensive line. They got to address that, whether it's in the draft, whether they got, some more stuff in free agency, maybe some trades like we saw them trade for Joe Milton. Maybe they do something like that. But right now, you already know my mindset. This team is an 0-17 team. They're staring 0-17 right down the barrel with Brian Schottenheimer as their head coach, with Matt Eberflus as their defensive coordinator, this goof, and all this stuff. I just don't see why, if you're the Dallas Cowboys, like if he's not 100% and you're not 100% that he's where he needs to be, why you rush him back? Like, I get it. If I'm one of these dudes and I want to get out there on the field, I'm pushing myself. I'm doing everything I can. But at the end of the day, if you're not better than Washington, you're not better than Philadelphia, you're barely better than the Giants. Don't come out here and get yourself hurt even worse and ruin another payday that you can get later on down the road.
I think you're alluding to, like, I think this is more the player than it is the franchise that's pushing him.
Yeah.
And we see this with Aiden Hutchinson. Like I saw a video earlier. Aiden was sprinting right now. Like, I'm like, dude, you still broke your leg, man. And you're sprinting. Like, these players, I get it, are young. They think they can recover so quickly. Hey, I understand if your body feels like it's ready, because the confidence is there. The confidence never wavered. It was the body that gave out. But the thing is, you've got to have reality with yourself. Like, you're a young player. You have a bright future for both these guys. Overshown, I like Overshown a lot. Even though I'm not a UT fan, I'm a big fan of Overshown. Very impactful linebacker. Aiden, of course, is Aiden. But the thing is that these dudes have a long career ahead of them. And last thing you want to do is come back too early, have another injury, and then here comes the debate. Well, are you worth the money?
Yep.
Do we need to keep? Are you a franchise player for us, or is this somebody that we missed on? I mean,
there's always an outlier. There's always an anecdotal story. I mean, where somebody can recover fast and come back fast. We're talking about 2012 Adrian Peterson. I mean,
exactly.
He was the fastest ACL recovery to go. not only recover, win MVP and Offensive Player of the Year.
Dominate.
So it can happen. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess it just depends on the player and whether or not their doctors think they can move that fast to recover. I mean, look, I'm not mad at the guy who defy the odds. I mean, I get what you're saying. It's a risk, but I mean, man, if you want to get back to the game and you can get back,
you're ready. Go for it. Yeah, I'm with you, man. Just understand what you're doing. Like, understand that you're putting a huge risk on your body, but also too, you're putting a risk on your pocketbook too. Because if you hit another injury, dude, you just lost a lot of money.
And you're doing this for a team that's going to go 0-17.
I don't know about 0-17, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
that'd be great.
He's been
That'd be great
banking
if
on
they
that
did.
0-17 for quite a long time, and we hope you get it. And I
As
think
a Lion fan, we're hoping for that because then we can
I
make fun
think
of
you
y'all.
guys play the Panthers
Let
this
us-
year. We'll contribute to it if we can.
Let's think of it like this, though. You're looking at it outside of a GM's perspective, of a team's perspective, but as a player's perspective, if they feel they can go all the way, and it's in their confidence to do so, I mean, what's to stop that? I mean, if they feel that they can do that, like Aiden Hutchinson or Overshone, I mean, either one of those guys, they come back full forces because they know they can play. Right. It's all a confidence thing. And you want to give them the benefit of the doubt. You don't want them to be out there tiptoeing while they're playing the game. Right. They got to go full throttle. This is the NFL. You know what I'm saying? This ain't flag football. Well, it's starting to turn into flag football, but anyway, it is the NFL. And you got to go out there and do your part. So balls to the wall. This is all I got to say.
So I'm finally going to say it right now, right? Like as the outside linebacker who's going to be pass rushing and doing all that. I love the talk. I love where he's coming from. His mindset is like, I want to get out here. I want to be better for the team. But I want to see how he performs whenever those big, beefy men get their hand on him.
Oh, God.
And they start pushing him around. And you have big, beefy men just slapping beef against each other.
Thanks, Tip.
That's a great point because it's always the worry. And me and B have talked about this with Aiden. Is he going to be that guy after that broken leg? Is he still going to have that same motor? Is he still going to have that same burst that he could get to the quarterback? That's the big concern because that's what's going to determine if he gets one of the highest paid or he gets maybe a lower level pay.
I mean, let's be honest. An injury for anybody, especially when you start to get past the 30 and 35-year-old mark, no matter if you're a regular lay person or not, you're not going to heal the same. No. Even though these guys have millions of dollars and the top healthcare out there, you cannot override father time. You cannot override genetics. You cannot override your genetic makeup and the way you heal, and everybody heals differently. You will not know until you put cleats to grass when it is first down, when it is time for game day, when it is kickoff. Even out there sprinting, whatever you're doing, gardening, whatever, you will not know. We saw it best, and we see it all the time when players come back, and then all of a sudden they're out. Look at Jonathan Brooks from the Panthers. Got cleared, played 2-3 games, re-snapped, and out again. And so, and he's a young guy, so you just never know. So that will be definitely something to look into. Shockingly, we must talk about the Sanders family. Unfortunately, again, I'm ad nauseum with them. Two things. We'll get to the second thing in just a minute. But Shedeur decides, okay, I'm going to show you guys what I got. Now Travis Hunter is not. Shedeur said he wants to make sure he solidifies his stock. I mean, they're still on this campaign of rolling back all the negative that has been going on with them. He doesn't want to perform for the combine. His daddy's on FaceTime at all the interviews. Now his dad comes out last week. Hey, guys, we're just grateful no matter where we're going to go. Before that, it's like, hey, if he gets picked up by the wrong team, I'm going to have to privately intervene. Now we're grateful if it's, and he names out the teams, Browns, everywhere. He's okay with it. Now, all of a sudden, Shedeur is like, I'm going to show you guys I can throw. I can perform. What are y'all's thoughts on that? I don't really have a particular order. Go ahead, Tip. I see your finger up.
Remember that time Zach Wilson looked good because of his pro day?
Yep.
That's all I'm going to say.
Remember when? Yeah.
Your pro day don't mean nothing. Zach Wilson looked good. What did he look like whenever he was playing for the Jets? There you go. It doesn't mean a damn thing. Pro day don't mean nothing.
I agree with that. I'll say this. Tape don't lie. Watch the tape of Shedeur Sanders. Mm-hmm. The guy had no O-line, had no running backs. Defense was terrible. Guy was running for his life. Hey, it sounds like a team in the NFL that's really bad, right?
Sounds like what happened with Bryce.
But he also had a Heisman Trophy winner.
No, he did.
That wasn't the only person he was throwing to, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, J-Train, I know that's where you pick up there. What are your thoughts? Because I know you're like, this dude had nothing, like, seriously.
No, I'm not going to say he didn't have anything. Look, the line was better the second year. It wasn't great. It was better, though. It was they had one of the highest graded left tackles that they recruited and got him in there, but the rest of the line was just okay. But Shedeur said the only reason I watched his interview after the pro day. He said the only reason he was throwing was to showcase his receivers because some of his guys didn't get invited to the combine.
Right.
So he said that was the only reason he came out to throw.
Yeah.
And he helped himself because I watched that. He throws some good deep balls. He's got a decent arm. I mean, I think he kind of put the doubters to quiet a little bit.
Yeah.
Very accurate. And also, he reiterated that, look, I'm a difference maker. And I don't mind him saying this. He said, look at the tape. Jackson State, we turned it around. Colorado, we turned it around. And you can't argue that. That's not a myth. It's not a something just coming out of his behind. It's the truth. This is what it is. And he also said, I mean, the other one of the guys sitting there, Louis Riddick said he's a smooth operator. When he throws the ball, you can see his command, how he handles things. But he also said, he asked the question, what makes a great quarterback? He said, what's the attribute of a quarterback? This is Shedeur asking this question. And he said consistency. And they also answered accuracy and decision making. And all three of those things you can see this quarterback possesses.
And what's up?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No,
sorry.
You go ahead. Go ahead, J Train.
I just don't see him falling past the top. I mean, he's not falling.
I'm with you. I think it's all smoke. I do too.
What's up, Cricket Kamish? And Robbie says Overshown eats beef for dinner. Guys, let's switch to the other Sanders, and then we're going to move over to some NBA news and then also give B. Trilla time to pull up his hockey stuff. Right now, let's do a quick score check. UConn is up 9-6 over UCLA. Very close game. In fact, they just scored to make it 9. It was tied. These ladies are getting it done tonight, and that's kickoff. And once we wrap up, we will alleviate you to go over and check them out. But right now, we appreciate everybody that's coming on, watching, supporting on YouTube, Prim and Proper Sports on the Roku Network for national streaming sports, all the social media platforms, the Carolina Pantherettes, Prim and Proper Sports, all things football, and for all the affiliates that I have here, the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton, One Ass Cheek, Three Toes with Nate and B. Trilla. And of course, J Train is on my network here with National Streaming Sports. We just appreciate all the likes, loves, and comments on tonight. And of course, South Carolina is headed to the Final Four to face the winner of this game here shortly. Don Staley getting it done. Mercedes-Benz wants their car back, and they have now filed a lawsuit to make sure Shiloh, Shedeur's brother, who owes them $96,000 is what the value of the car is. Of course, we know depreciation kicks in. This young man has a 2023 Mercedes-Benz, and they have been looking for this car. He has not made a payment since last year. In fact, he filed bankruptcy in 2023. And from a legal perspective, it looks like he included that into his bankruptcy petition. And so, I mean, for those who don't know about the legal aspects of bankruptcy, let me just make it real quick because I used to work for a bankruptcy firm. When you're filing 13, that is a payment plan where you are repaying some of your creditors on a percentage. When you file Chapter 7, you're eliminating all of your debts. The key to both of those is if you own a home or a vehicle, some of those creditors will not allow you to include those in your petition. Either if it's 7, specifically 7, because that means you're erasing all your debt. 13, you're on a payment plan. Looks like he left it out of his plan. He probably filed 7, where he owed over $12,000 in debt. Excuse me, $11 million in debt. Let me clear that up, guys. Not 12,000. He owes $11 million in debt, and he's in college, guys. Court records. Mercedes-Benz is like, just give us the location of our car so we can come get it. Now, before the show started, I already know my guys. I know my brothers. I know how everybody thinks on here, but I want to share you guys' points of view. Should Prime Senior get involved, or Shedeur? I mean, should he help his little brother out this one time?
Should they? No. Are they? Probably. Like, I mean, that's family. Like, you always take care of family until that one time you decide you don't want to take care of family no more. I'm looking at a lot of family. I ain't taking care of you no more. Like, there's always that one tipping point, right? Like, not to be so proverbial with it, but there's always that tipping point. What's it going to be where you decide, okay, I'm not going to take care of him no more. They got to learn that lesson. He's still such a young kid that, you got to go with the lumps, but you still got to, that's your flesh and blood. You got to bail him out a little bit. Like, I know a lot of times you don't want to, but as a dad, man, if that's my kid, I got to.
Yeah.
Let's have some real talk for a sec. If Shiloh was projected to be a first-round draft pick, this would have already been cleaned up already.
Oh yeah.
Like the fact is, or if this was Shador situation, it would have been cleaned up before this even got to the combine. Like why Dion is dragging this out, I have no idea.
Clicks and likes.
I mean, I guess so. He's trying to teach a lesson, but I mean, you're teaching a lesson that you favor one boy over the other. That's not fatherly like. If you ask me.
So to me, like a lot of it's going to come down to like, did Shiloh even tell his dad? Because there's a lot of times that whenever we were kids, we messed up. I ain't telling my dad a damn thing.
Yeah, he knew. I guarantee you, Dion knew.
They don't call Dion's manager. They don't call.
Yeah,
they
out here. There's a person on the other list that you call if something happens with a car. Yeah. It's your father or your mother. So yeah, he knew about it. But the thing is, just to give the Shiloh a little bit of props, but I didn't know about this, but I think it's gonna hurt him now. Shiloh ran a 4.5 at his 40 on the combine. I mean, at the pro day. So that's gonna boost his stock a little bit in the draft. But this could very well bring it down too, because it's kind of an eyesore that GMs kind of look at like, oh man.
Wait, but doesn't he have like another year before he goes into the draft?
No, he's in the draft.
Shiloh's coming into the draft too.
Yeah, they both came out.
You know, it's so crazy because I thought that, but Shador has overshadowed the whole thing so much that I clearly forgot all about Shiloh. They need to go ahead and draft him so he can settle this debt up. This is crazy.
So Dion,
we can all say Shiloh's not going to get drafted. Shiloh's going to the XFL.
He's
I don't know, man. Look, I mean, well, maybe not now after this situation.
I've watched him play. I'm just telling you, I'm not all on the Shador. I'm not. I tell you, I'm not a bandwagoner. He's definitely not that good. He's okay.
Yeah. He's like
he could be Mr. He could be Mr. Irrelevant. Come on, I'd take him as Mr. Irrelevant.
But why would you draft that problem? Like you already know, okay, this is going to be a dude who's going to be a problem with us. He doesn't have the upside his brother has. Like
I agree with you now because I didn't know about the problem. I didn't know about this problem.
To me, he seems like the black sheep. Dion there's no favorite. Dion is hard on all their kids alike. And I mean, this has been verbalized by Shador. He said he's very hard on us, more harder than any other player. And he's just the black sheep of the family. I'm not saying that you shouldn't take care of him, but this is a hard lesson. I would make my son work for it if I had a son.
But J-Train,
I would make him work for it and make him pay it. Like you see Dion Jr., he's the social media guy. He found a niche. He's working. He's doing something. He's not just living off his dad's money. This is a situation I would make him, if I'm going to help you, I'll go ahead and pay the loan off, but you're going to pay me back with interest.
I agree with you. I agree with you, but if this table was turned and Shiloh was the top draft pick, or if this was in Shador's situation, it would have been cleaned up already.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's my point, is that, like, because Shiloh is not projected to be a high draft pick or maybe not even drafted, it's more like, hey, dude, you got to figure this out. Like, but if it's a Shador situation, I think they cleaned this up before the combine.
Yeah,
because this really would hurt his stats.
They're like night and day. Shador is probably going to handle his business. The things I've heard from other people around him, he's that dude. He's like to the T. He's that very precise. What was the word? It begins with an M. I can't even think of it. He's goodness. He's just like a perfectionist. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, okay.
He's not going to do anything like that. He's about having all his stuff in a row, everything lined up. He reminds me of Deion Sanders. That's how Deion Sanders was.
Is Pilar his mama too? Is Pilar Shiloh and Shador's? Okay.
Yes.
He might be having a Pilar moment because she's kind of out there, a little unstable. Trilla, what's your thoughts on it?
I'm getting really tired of talking about this situation. I'll be glad when the draft is over because this will go away.
Well, no, about the money part. About the money part.
I'm not. Like I said in our chat, I said it's a parenting moment. You would think for us normal folks. Mm-hmm. But we don't have that. We don't have, and unless somebody has that money, I want to know so I can borrow some. But unless we have that kind of Dion money, you know what I'm saying? There's a whole difference in how you raise your kids too. Yeah. And Nate brought up a good point. I think, Nate brought up a good point about favoring a child over another child. You got to be there equally for all your kids. You know, I know that I have 3 kids. I got to be there equally for all of them. Because they'll be, oh, I know, Dad, you think I'm your favorite. No, the hell I don't. Don't be thinking that. Because you ain't my favorite. None of y'all my favorite. In fact, I would kick you to the curtain.
We're taking care of
anyway.
My favorite.
It's just that point. I mean, he's going to help him out. He's just making him sweat. That's all there is to it.
But the public
Jay trains for fun. He's making him sweat for right now.
But
he's like, let me see if you can figure this out on your own. And if you can't figure it out, I got you. But I want to see if you can figure it out on your own first. And
but now it's public information. Now it's the whole world knows. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I mean that's
understand
that's just a part of it, right?
That's part of being Deion's children. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
Name. Yeah.
It reminds me of like one of those reality shows from back in the day. I don't know if y'all remember Coolio had a reality show.
Yes.
And like he bought a Ford Taurus for one of his kids, and his kid was like, "Oh, Dad, I thought we had money." He was like, "No. I got money. You ain't got."
Yeah. That's the way it should be. Like it's not your money. It's my money. So,
yeah, definitely.
Do whatever I tell you to do.
Good luck.
I say that
and don't get me wrong. I don't think it's all rich parents that do that either. I think a lot of rich parents do that just what Coolio does. It depends on the parent, depends on the individual. It's just what it is, man. Hopefully that the brother can get himself out of that trouble and get himself somewhere so he can play football. I think that's probably the reason why his football status is dropping, because it's not making him focus on what he needs to be focusing on. Is playing football.
Continued drama, and we always talk about personal and professional. Score check 21-11. UConn all over UCLA. Paige Becker's predicted to go number 1 in the WNBA draft. Looking absolutely amazing. I say she's held up the hem quite nicely that Caitlin left behind. So this game probably will advance even more because UConn is dominating in the paint, guys. And once we wrap up, you guys can hop on over to that. Let's switch on over to the NBA. Speaking of basketball, this has been a week of records, guys. Antetokounmpo broke a records NBA record this week, and also breaking this afternoon, the Boston Celtics made NBA history on today by swishing their 1,364 3-pointer of the season, making them the new league season record. Previous record was by the Warriors in 22-23.
When it ain't even done yet. The season ain't even over yet.
It's not even done yet. Just starting. But Antetokounmpo breaking records, guys. What are your thoughts on that? Anybody got that feedback, that plug for me?
I mean, Giannis is a
he's got 35 points, 17 rebounds, and 20 assists. It's just dominant. He's a big man. He's 7 foot. He's got the large wingspan. It's not hard to do for him. I mean, he can play.
Freak athlete.
Yes, the Greek. That's why they call him the Greek freak. Look, I'm just not surprised. He could play. I mean, they played against the 76ers. I mean, they're not that great, but maybe it's not hard to do against a team like that. But yeah, I'm not going to shoot that down. That's a great record, man. Shouts out, props to him.
Yeah, and of course, Denver getting it done this week. Denver Nuggets, Luka Doncic, 61 points, triple-double in double overtime, but then losing by 1 point. This just been a week of records. And so, maybe they're trying to reignite the excitement of the NBA because it's been kind of blah as of late.
That's why I tell you all, they all look like a jar of mayonnaise, right? Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic, they both look alike, according to Sonja over here. Feels like we got some problematic stuff going on. But I mean, Jokic's the best player in the NBA. I said it the other day, and I'm going to get pushed back, the best player in NBA history. We got to start putting respect on that man's name.
Yeah. In NBA history?
NBA history. No one has done the stuff he's done.
He's up there.
Yeah, but I mean, how long he's going to do that for? You really going to put him over Michael Jordan?
How much longer does he have to do it for?
Oh, come on, man.
Well, he's got to win more rings.
We could be here all night on that take. I'm just going to sign off on
that. All I do is throw the grenade out there, baby. Is what I do.
You might need to fall on it, brother.
I'll say.
I knew you were going to say that shit.
I'll say this real quick. These records are being broken because there's no defense anymore in the NBA. Like they got rid of the hand check fouls. They got rid of the hard fouls. It's a soft sport, and players don't play defense. And so it's a lot easier to get a lot of buckets in the NBA now than it was back in the day.
Yeah. So
I want to understand this in all pro sports. I see there's a lot of penalties or a lot of new rules that prevent the defense from being defensive. Okay. And this is in all pro sports. Is it really that bad to go to a game and watch a defensive struggle? You're still paying for the tickets. Was the prices dropping that much in these leagues that they had to do this to the defense?
Ratings
ridiculous.
On TV. The ratings on
TV
was
still. You might have one game that might be 10-7, but the next game might be 58-14. It doesn't make a difference. You're still getting your money either way.
Hey, B.
And you're taking away from the game.
Yo, B.
On all levels.
You like watching soccer?
Hell no.
There you go. No one want to watch 90 minutes of people struggling to score.
I don't know.
That's soccer though. Soccer's a whole different bag.
That's none of us, brother. But there's a whole market out there.
Defense wins championships. Offense sells tickets.
That's what they say. And speaking of, we're at the top of the hour, but we're gonna switch real briefly because Nate has his Red Sox shirt on. The Dodgers have taken their first L, guys. They lost to the Phillies. Congratulations to you, Pags, if you're watching. 3-2. The Dodgers have fallen. They have fallen. This is the final score.
They're human.
They are now 8-1. The Padres have also lost their first game tonight. So they are now 7-1. This must have been Loserville, USA. And let's see. Phillies now are at the top of the National League East, of course. Cubs 6-4, but they're at the top of the National League Central. And it's such a long season for baseball. Padres and Dodgers neck and neck in the West. And then when you switch over to the American League, Yankees 5-2 at the top of theirs, Tigers 3-4, but at the top of the American League Central, that's a garbage division. American League West 5-2. I mean, I know it's an early
beginning of the season, woman.
So
come on.
I'm so sorry. The Tigers. That's D-Tweezy, but it's a long season, 150 some games left to play. And yeah, but I mean, Nate, your Red Sox, I just want to get you the nice little plug here.
Shout out.
Roll out.
Yeah. I mean, I hope we finish over the Yankees. I mean, that's the Red Sox dream every time. But one thing about the AL, I'll say this, it's open for anybody. Honestly, like some people have Boston against, the Dodgers in the World Series. I have them there, but I mean, it could be anybody. Like, honestly, find me a team that you could say, honestly, hands down is going to win the AL.
Yep. And so, listen, our final take, we will switch back to March Madness for a tick. I want to get your takes tomorrow night's games. I'm so excited. Tomorrow at 8:49, which means I'm going to have to drink a lot of coffee. They got that game kicked off late. My Duke boys playing Houston. But before that, Florida and Auburn, both number one seeds. Everybody's number one in the Final Four. 6:09 p.m. Let me go around the table here and get everybody's picks for the Florida Auburn game, 6:09. I'll start with you, Strilla.
I got Florida over Auburn and Duke over Houston. Duke is a champion on Monday.
All right. You, Tip?
I got the same thing. Duke and Florida in the national championship. Duke with the win.
All right. Dre Train.
I got Auburn and Duke, and I got Duke with the win.
Oh, so you got Florida with the upset, Nate.
Florida and Duke, and plant the flag on the championship. You know what that means.
I'm listening.
And that means what? Florida?
Plant the flag. What's Cooper Flag's last name?
That's right.
Okay. Plant the flag.
That's right.
I don't like this now. All five of us are going to go with Duke. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. We're going to lose.
There should be like an air slap for everybody if they didn't get that.
I know, guys. Let me tell you something. I don't want that because it doesn't feel like a jinx to me. I just feel like it's a come to Jesus moment. You guys finally see the light that I've been saying all season long. And I already have several Duke t-shirts in my baskets on different shopping sites. Cannot wait It's time to replenish from 2019. This team has been compared to the 2019 team. Trilla, what do you got to say? I see you up there barely.
I don't know if it's coming to the light. I'm just looking at the reality of the situation. My Spartans didn't get it done because they can't shoot with crap. So, I mean, what the hell?
Yeah.
Okay, you know what, Sonja, you convinced me to change my mind. I'm going with Houston. It's going to be Houston and Florida. Houston's going to win the national championship. I don't want to see you happy. I don't want it. I can't have it.
And the reality is, if Duke plays at 75%, they're going to beat all the teams.
Mm-hmm.
They're that talented. They have they have 4 top 10 players in this year's draft. That's all you need to know. And they have a superstar in Cooper Flag. So who's going to beat them?
I mean,
I like the way.
And when Flag doesn't play, the rest of that team comes out because the last game he had wasn't the greatest game of his career. That's for damn sure. What's the guy's name, Nate? The other guard? Knipple. Yeah, Knipple was killing them in that game.
Yeah, he doesn't have to play great because their team is so talented, like you said.
Yeah, well, he was trying to play great, but
you got a 7'2" center in Malowatch as well. Like they're a big team.
Yeah, they're just a huge team. It's like playing an NBA team, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of. I mean, it's the last couple of games to play. Let's be clear. But it's a lot of ball to be played. I'm up here literally looking now while I'm talking to y'all, trying to put my bracket up. Don't worry, I'll have it up.
I mean, they're so deep. The guy Sion James could probably be a starter in other teams, and he probably would ball out. Like that's how deep they are. And he's a graduate. He's a graduate transfer, but he can ball.
Yeah, I want to make sure that for all intents purposes, everybody sees my bracket. Holla at your girl.
The bracket you filled out after all the first round games.
You are such a whole hater on that.
Hey, you need the little emoji.
I'm glad you said it, Tip.
I saw it. We saw it in person. Like, we were getting text messages.
Listen, no, and y'all not
Sonja,
here.
Sonja, you need the little Cooper Flag emoji to plant the flag right there in the middle.
Yeah, you see what my name is.
Don't encourage her, Nate.
You see what my name is. You guys see what my name is here. It's Duke BDs. That's my name. And literally, one thing about it, even if I did fill out the first round, if y'all saying that, even though I did not, the second and on rounds are no, I've had misses on those. And my overall champ is what matters the most. And that game has not been played yet. So stop being a whole hater and get the vibes together.
Let me say this about this whole March Madness. It obviously there were some upsets in the early rounds, but I think everybody, for the most part, had all the number 1 seeds going to the Final Four.
Yeah, all of my people did, and people joked because on me about all your people are number 1.
They're that good. Like, do you really think that they were going to lose to a lower seeded team? I mean, they got challenged, sure. But do you think they were going to lose?
I had Texas Tech in the championship game, but that's because you can see the Texas Tech flag right there. Like,
they gave it a good fight, but they're not as talented as the team that they lost.
All I'm gonna say is, I know my championship shirt won't get here in time enough for next Friday, so I'll just wear a brand new shirt that I'll be having, and I'm gonna be wearing Duke shirts every Friday until I just get run out of
until we puke.
I hope those national championship shirts for Duke get sent to some third world country where no one else.
Wow.
No, that's the other side of the team. Those are going to the third world country.
and get banned from being shipped back in because of tariffs, huh?
There you go.
It's a beautiful It's a beautiful word. Everyone knows.
Everyone knows. It's a very naughty team. They don't want to come to the White House to meet me, and that's
they're so nasty.
Fine. Yes, thank you, Robbie. Thank you. Listen here, guys. Thank you, Michigan Sports Podcast. All Detroit teams won tonight. Congratulations to you guys. You guys know how I feel about you guys. And Pistons clinch a playoff spot. That's big.
Let's go.
Congratulations.
Detroit basketball.
Everybody.
Stand up.
Yes, stand up for you guys. The bad boys are back. I want to thank everybody for tonight's showing of love, comments. You guys are absolutely amazing. The shares. I would not be here if it was not for these gentlemen here, especially J Train, who's been with me for such a long time. And Fern, we miss you. He was day one. Wednesday of next week will be a special edition. I'm dedicating the show to my uncle, who is the reason why I do this. It will be his birthday. And so It will be dedicated to him on Wednesday. Fern will be joining me then. But before that, tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., J-Train and I will be hosting with Jack Hirsch the Sports Memory Sports Debate Show at 8 a.m. sharp on National Streaming Sports. Sunday morning, these gentlemen right here will be joining me at 8 a.m. Maybe not Nate, but I'll be joining him and Trilla later in the afternoon on the network for the Sunday Morning Big Sports Show. That afternoon at 4, we'll be on the One Ass Cheek, Three Toes platform where they'll be having a whole debate and I'll be moderating. Tip has all his stuff rolling with us and he'll be rolling in between time for the meantime. And with that, we wish everybody a great weekend. Thank you guys again and God bless. We'll see you soon.
Have a good night.
Good night.
This is a presentation of National Streaming Sports. Over 20 podcasters, 70 weekly shows, and a 3.4-star rating on Roku TV.